Hello everyone. This is Jen with Jen's Zen Art, and today is episode number 2 of New Technique Wednesday. Come on in, have a seat, get a cup of coffee, and join me for a little 30-minute snippet of a new technique using acrylic paints that we are going to work on today. When you get here, say hello so I know that I'm working and that you can hear me. And we are going to get started. So tell me where you're watching from and let me know if you are an avid acrylic painter or if you're just passing through today. I'd love to know a little bit about you. Maybe some of you are members of my membership and you're here to watch today. Because you love my New Technique Wednesdays. That's the word out there. That's why I brought them back, because I used to do New Technique Wednesdays and then I stopped for a while and now I'm back. So what I'm going to do today while you are all coming on. Hi, Candy. How are you? I'm guessing you can hear me okay. What I'm going to do right now is I'm putting down very basic colors on my color palette. Some reds, some blues, kind of like going into the warm tones, and then I'm also going into the cool tones. If I can get my tops off. Okay, so I've got some reds, some yellows. I should have put my yellow over here. I'm going to move that actually. I'm going to grab this yellow and move it. No, I might be moving it. I'm going to put it over here by my warm colors. So you can see what I have on my palette so far. I've got some reds, some yellows, some blues, some turquoise, and I'm also going to add, I have black, and I'm going to add a bunch of white. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how sometimes I do this, what I call batch painting, practice paintings. And I'm going to show you how I do that. And it's not a technique that I use very often, but it's a lot of fun when I do it. And hello, Janet. Hello, Linda. Hello. So glad y'all are here. So I'm going to make my screen bigger so y'all can see what I'm doing. All right, and I'm going to bring you in a little bit. So this is, what I have right here is a 12 by 12 piece of acrylic paper that I like to use. Maybe I'm just playing around. Maybe I'm actually painting a real painting on it. I love using this stuff. I'll show you what it looks like. And maybe that's something that you would be interested in purchasing as well. So this is called acrylic paper from Strathmore. You buy this stuff on blick.com and you can get it in different sizes. The reason why I like this, it's better than watercolor paper because it's 246 pounds. Watercolor paper usually comes in 146 pounds and it's too thin for me. So I like to use something a little bit thicker when I'm working, and this is what I use. They come in different sizes. We use this same paper for our 6x6 challenge, which I'm also going to talk to y'all about today because I have a new 6x6 challenge coming out soon. And the old 6x6 challenge, which is going to be called version 1, is going to be evergreen, meaning that it's not going to be launched anymore. It's just going to be open to anyone to purchase over a period of time. And we're going to talk more about that as we go. But today, what I'm doing first is I'm actually going to put an undercoat on this whole piece of paper here. And I'm going to use orange. This is just a folk art paint. It's called Canyon Sunset. I love to use an orange as an underpainting. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm using just a large paintbrush, and I'm taking all of this paint and I'm just applying it with some water onto this surface. I want it to be kind of thin. I don't want it to be a really thick layer because I want it to dry really fast. I want to be able to work on it in just a few minutes. So I'm just going to apply it really fast. No particular order on how my strokes are going. It's just going to be a large underpainting. And so this is what I'm going to do with this paper after I get it all covered. Well, as I let it dry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ruler and let's just use this, just a Posca pen. And I want to cut this. This is a 12 by 12 sheet. So I'm going to cut it into 4 6x6s. So I'm going to measure 6 inches. Remember, this is exactly 12. So I'm going to measure 6 inches, put a dot, measure 6 inches, put a dot, measure 6 inches, and measure 6 inches. Okay, and then what I'm going to do from there is I'm going to draw, not with a Posca pen. I'm going to draw with like maybe just a pen. I'm going to draw a line connecting my dots here across. It doesn't have to be strong because what I'm doing is I'm just making a cutting surface for me. I'm going to cut these up into 4 6x6 pieces. So if you don't have a 6x6, I love painting on a 6x6. It's my blog post this week is about how the Painting Small 6x6 challenge has helped me grow so much in my art journey that I'm doing another one. I'm making a version 2 6x6 painting challenge, and it will be released for participation, for registration next week. So y'all will hear a lot more about that next week. Okay, so I'm going to have 4 6x6 sheets here. I'm just cutting them up. You can use an X-Acto knife or something like that. And the paper is kind of thick, so it is a little hard to cut them up. Okay, so then what I'm going to do with them is I'm going to take I'm looking for it right now. I'm going to take like a large board. Where is my board? I have a board that I use on a regular basis. I'm just going to use this. Something to put them on. Okay, some kind of surface to put them on. This is an old calendar. I didn't want to throw it away because I like looking at the photos in it for inspiration. So I kept my calendar. It's got really pretty pictures in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these pieces. Now this is not quite big enough, but I'm going to turn them all over. And I'm going to, you don't really have to do this, but I'm just going to do it for ease of use. I'm going to take some tape just to kind of stick them together. I know I just cut them apart. I know y'all are saying, well, why are you sticking them back together if you just cut them apart? It's just for the ease of use on what I'm getting ready to do. So it'll stop them from moving around. And it's what I call batch producing if you are in the mood to produce a bunch of items all at one time. Okay, then I'm going to take a piece of tape, a couple of pieces of tape, and I'm going to just kind of get this on here so that it doesn't move around. So I'm just sticking it on there. Okay, so if you remember last week, I don't know if you were here last week. Let me know if you were here last week. If not, hopefully you watched the replay. The replays are available for 1 month. And then, as y'all all know, if you watch a lot of lives and a lot of videos on Facebook, after 30 days, Facebook is removing the videos. So we have no control over that. That's just what we've been told is happening. And so you have 30 days to watch them, and then they won't be there anymore. Unless you are a member of my membership, and then they get archives. I can download them and I can archive them into our membership. So that's what we are going to do with that. All right, so this is what we have going on right now. We have got 4 6x6s with some orange paint. I mean, it's just folk art paint, just craft paint on the surface. They are all dry. They're still moist because I used a lot of water. But what we're going to do, if you remember last week, we worked on some really fun backgrounds. And I'll show you what we did last week. And we're gonna work a little bit more on backgrounds today, but we're gonna do it in a really fun and kind of like practice way. So these are the backgrounds we worked on last week. Okay, I left them to dry by themselves, so they kind of folded up a little bit. But if you let them dry with like something on top of them, they won't fold up like these did. So these were the fun backgrounds we used. We used alcohol ink to make these backgrounds. Eventually, this one did not come out very well. That was one that I don't know what I did wrong. But the other ones came out really cute. I really like these colors right here. And then I took one and I actually made a floral out of it just from that crazy background. The vase is actually from the crazy background. So we're kind of talking about backgrounds in our New Technique Wednesdays this month. And so I want to talk to you about a certain type of background. A lot of people say, okay, so I painted a painting. Now, what color do I want to put the background? So really, it can have two, you can kind of look at it in two different ways. I'm looking for my color wheel that I just took. Oh, here it is. Okay. So this is the basic color wheel. Okay. One thing that I like to do when I'm trying to decide on backgrounds is I want it to be, it's probably going to be a complementary color, or it's going to be a combination of a complementary color. So if my item on my painting is orange, then I'm going to want to do a background that's blue. So if you know anything about the color wheel, you know that opposite colors on the color wheel are complementary colors to one another, and they are the most pleasing to the eyes. Okay, they are the most pleasing to the eyes. There are also other ways to come up with a cool background that we're going to discuss today as well. If I have maybe the main colors in my painting or I don't know, maybe orange and green, which we're actually going to do one that's going to be orange and green. If you mix the orange and green colors together and you add white to it, then it makes a really cool background that works really well with the item that you have, the painting that you have there. So I like to paint a subject first and then put the background around it, because you get those little pops, and I'll show y'all. Let me see if I have any right here. Yeah, here's one. These are a bunch of 6x6 paintings that I have that we've worked on in the past. They're in little plastic cellophane, so they're kind of shiny. You can see, like on this one, I used an orange background. You can see it popping through here. You can see I used an orange background. You can see it popping through all of those different areas. Look here, you can see the orange background. See that? You can see it coming through on the side. I love to use orange as my background. This one's really cool. You can see the orange background coming through. So it's not you have to do it this way. It's a personal preference. I have a lot of them that I use orange backgrounds for. This one I used a pink background. You can see it coming through. You can see it coming through in the sky as well. So there's really no, hello Sandra, hello Lori and Karen. There's really no right answer to it. Here's a cool one. I used orange in the background here as well. So all of these little paintings that I'm showing you right now, these are all of, well, I sold a lot of them, but these are the 6x6. These are all the 6x6 challenge paintings that we've done. in my version 1. Look at this one, how cool. This was an orange and yellow background. Look at that. So this is a pink background. You can see the neon pink coming through. How cool is that? Anyway, so these are a bunch of 6x6s that I have done in the past in our first version 1 6x6 challenge. This was a purpley pink background in this one. You can see all of that in there. And we're going to start a new version. We're going to have a version 2 that starts very soon, probably next week. We're going to have a version 2. So you don't have to have completed version 1 to participate in version 2. You could do both of them. You could do one of them, whatever you want. It's not connected to Jen's membership. It is completely separate. I'm looking to see if I have any other crazy background ones in here. No, I think that's about it. Oh, this is a red. You can see the red background in this one. That's super cool. So why did I use red? Because what's the main color in this? I don't know what this is. It's some kind of plant. What's the main color in the plant? Green. What are opposites on the color wheel? Red and green. So that's why I use the red background. And they work really well together. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on these. We are going to paint 4 paintings that are all the same painting, but we're going to use different colors and backgrounds. We're going to do it really fast. It's not going to be a painting lesson where I'm going to teach you how to paint everything step by step. It's going to be kind of like a fast tutorial on backgrounds. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of like sketch out what I'm painting. And what I decided I'm painting today is, I think I'm going to do I was thinking about it earlier. I thought about doing some some flower vases, but instead I decided I'm going to do carrots since it is Easter time and we're all about carrots right now, right? So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw out my carrot like this. Super easy. We're going to have that going on. We're going to have a table that it's laying on. And I'm going to do this 4 times. So this is what I call batch painting. Okay, I'm painting a carrot and I want to put these on my Etsy shop and I want to sell them for sale, or I just want to have a cute little collage of carrots to put in my house. Whatever reason, maybe it's just a practice version of anything. Like you just want to practice painting. You don't want to do anything with them. You just want to put them in your art journal and you want to just have fun. Okay, that's always a great opportunity just to do that. So we're going to paint 4 carrots. And what we're going to do is we're going to paint 2 that are warm and 2 that are cool. We're not going to make them all orange, okay? But we are going to make 1 orange. So I'm going to take let's go with this paintbrush here. It's kind of like a large flat paintbrush. And I'm going to take some cadmium red, medium, just some reds. And I'm going to start bringing in my warms. Reds and oranges, basically. Really fast, really fun. What this is doing here, this is loosening me up, okay? It's loosening me up. It's making me feel really happy about what I'm doing. And it's not for anybody. It's not something that, I'm going to go out and I'm trying to create a masterpiece. I'm just having fun. I'm just loosening up here. So this one I'm going to make a little bit more yellow. So I'm adding some yellows. I have cadmium yellow light that I'm adding there. And that's going to be my first color there. So let's go ahead and talk about these 2. These are 2 warm colors that I'm using here. I'm going to grab a little bit more of this red in here and bring it in. And it's almost coming out to be the same color as that one, but that's okay. Now I want to decide where my light source is coming from. My light source is going to be coming from the right. So I'm going to take some white and some yellow, and I'm going to make this area right here like super bright because I want my light source to come in there. Okay, so I'm just taking some yellow. I went a little bit out of the lines. Hey, that's what we do. We have fun. We cover up the lines because we don't want them to show. And then we bring in some more white. See how that's going. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to make that area right there. Not trying to impress anybody. I'm not, I'm not painting in a coloring book, basically. I'm just getting loose with my paint strokes. That's all I'm doing is I'm practicing my paint strokes. And I'm just having fun. And I'm thinking, hey, I might want to paint some more carrots. If I like the way they come out, maybe I've got a series going on. I don't know. Maybe I don't. Maybe I want to go back to flowers, which I'm not a really crazy flower person. You probably notice I don't paint that many flowers, but it's just about having fun. Okay. I'm going to grab a little bit of black on my paintbrush because I want this bottom side to be, I want it to have a darker shade there. Okay. So I'm going to go in like that. Let me clean that off. Let me let that dry a little bit. And then let's talk about our background. What are we going to do here for the background? Well, since I'm working with oranges and reds, okay, you can pretty much see that I'm working with a lot of oranges and reds. I started thinking, all right, on my color wheel, if I go to orange, directly across is a green blue. Okay, a red orange directly across is a green blue. Orange directly across is blue. So I'm thinking I want to go with a blue in the background, which is why I put these blues out. But you know what? I want to go with like a dark blue. So I'm going to take ultramarine blue, a little bit of black, and I'm going to start bringing in that color back there. I'm going to add a little bit of white to it. Yeah, look how pretty that is. That color is just going to pop against this. A little bit more white just to make it a little bit lighter. So just going to, oh, that's way light. I don't want to go that light. I'm just going to make a little bit of it lighter like that. We're going to come back and straighten it up some. And then on this one, I'm going to go a little bit more on the green side. So I'm going to add a little bit of yellow. Okay, a little bit of red. I'm going to actually make kind of like a muddy green color. So a little bit of like the orange. A little bit of yellow, a little bit of the turquoise. I'm just making a very different color here. I want it to have a little bit of a green tone to it. Not like green, but I want it to just have a little bit of a green tone to it. So I'm adding a little bit. There we go. That's what I want. It's kind of like a grayish green. I'm adding a little bit of yellow to the blue. And that's what's bringing out those colors. So that's going to be the beginning of my two warm carrots with a cool background. Okay, a warm carrot with a cool background. Now the table, let's go ahead and make the table. I think I'll just do very neutral. I'll do kind of like a grayish, like black and white. Just going to come in here with a very neutral table. A little bit lighter. All right, super fun, super fun. I'm not done with I have to put some spritz at the top for the top of the carrot. So let's go ahead and finish this one here, very similar to the same color table. And so we're just having fun with some warms and cools. Warms and cools. Okay, so let's go ahead and add, I'm going to take ultramarine blue and yellow, and I'm going to make some green. And I really want this to be green this time. So I am going to mix the ultramarine. You can just grab a green if you have a green, but I'm just going to mix these two colors together. A little bit more blue, get it kind of dark. A little bit more yellow. And just going to come with a little bit of a, now that's too light. I want it to be, that's when you start getting into the values. I want the values to be darker. So I'm going to add some black and some more yellow. And this black and yellow that I'm using, it's going to make a really pretty green. And watch how dark, look how pretty that is. I want this to be darker. You see how this background is really light? So the darker, this is all about value here. So the darker that you put your greenery, the better it's going to look because of those contrasting colors. Okay, so let's hold off on these. We're going to go back and you know, make them look a little better. We've still got some work to do on them. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to grab a little bit of a darker gray, grayish blue. Kind of clean that off some. And I'm going to bring in some shadows right here. And I'm going to do the same thing on this one. We're going to go in and fix it. Don't worry. It's not perfect yet. And it's never going to be perfect, actually. But we're going to have some fun with this. See how much fun it is to just play. That's all we're doing is we're playing. Okay, so next, let me turn this light off. I feel like I have a glare. That's a little better. Next, we're going to go the opposite direction. Next, we're going to make some cool colored carrots. I know there's no such thing as cool colored carrots. They're usually all orange, but we're just going to have some fun today, and we're going to play around. I'm going to do a turquoise. Okay, I'm going to take some turquoise color, and I'm going to bring that. Now, that's a little bit more blue than I really want. I want it to go a little more turquoise. But we'll fix it as we go. Okay, and then another cool color that would be really cool is a green. So let's do a green one. Okay, so I started with just a medium tone. And then what I want to do is I want to make the right side lighter and the left side darker. So this is basically the medium color. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in on the left side. I'm going to go darker. And this is like a really dark green. And then on the left side of, I might have to clean my paintbrush off. On the left side, this is like a really dark, almost like a navy blue. I know you can hardly see that. I probably need to go a little bit darker, but you can see it now. Let me clean that paintbrush off. These are super cool. They're so cute. Okay, so on the right side, I'm going to go a lot lighter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that medium tone that I had, and I'm going to add some white to it, and I'm going to come back on the right side. Look how pretty those are. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the green color. I'm going to go a little bit lighter, add some white to it. And you can see how much fun that is. So I'm loving the whole color combination there. It's coming out super cute. I'm going to clean that off. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the table the same color all the way across. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the background on these two be more of a warm tone. So on the blue, I'm going to go orange. I'm going to go pretty similar to the color that's already back there. It's just going to be a little bit darker. Kind of like a reddish orange color. Really pretty. Let's add a little bit of white to it. Let's add, I need some more yellow. A little bit of yellow in here. Not a lot, just a little bit. And then on the green one, I think I'm going to do, let's see, maybe more of a yellow. Let's do a yellow with white. Let's do that. Yeah. All right. Let's see how that's going to come out. Let me add a little bit of white to that. That's going to be my background. Okay, perfect. And then the bottom, again, I'm going to go with that kind of like that gray color. Just kind of like that's a little bit dark. So it's all about values. It's all about making sure that the colors that you use are a good combination, is complementary colors. Okay, using complementary colors are a great combination. Coming back in right there. I need to go darker. A little bit of dark colors in there. Fun, fun, fun. Darker colors in there. Fun, fun, fun. All right, let's go back to our grays. See how I'm not really concerned about being perfect? I'm really just having some fun. And I'm getting loose. I'm getting ready because later on today, I'm finishing up painting with my membership. We're painting a large white barn. And so doing these little exercises like this, oops, sorry, y'all. My camera just went out. It has an automatic save battery mode on it that I can't turn off. And it decides to just go to sleep sometimes. So I have to remind myself to check it every once in a while. All right, so let's make some green spray at the top. I'm going to use some black and yellow to make a dark green. And let's go here. This one's going to need some work, and I know exactly what I'm going to have to do to it. So what I'm going to have to do, this one here, the color of the green carrot is way too close to the same color as the little sprigs that I'm putting at the top. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make that a much, much lighter color. And we're going to add, I need more yellow. I obviously don't know how much yellow I need because I keep on having to go back to it. And I'm almost out of this paint here. So I'm going to add more yellow. I'm going to do the same thing here and make it kind of like a lime green color in here. A little bit of a darker color in there. A little bit of a darker color. Have some fun with it. Okay, so I really like the way they're coming out. Now let's be a little more aggressive in our completion of these. Not aggressive as in, oh, let's go crazy with the paints, but let's just start kind of like fine tuning what we have going on. So I'm going to put a little shadow in here. I'm going to put a little shadow in here. And I've got to make some highlights. So I'm going to add some more turquoise and white. And actually more white than anything. Make some highlights right there. And on my green one, I'm going to do the same thing. Put some whites in there. Look how pretty that looks. Let's do a little bit of that on our, look at that. Super, super easy. I think this one needs a lighter background right here, and you'll see it pop once I start bringing in that lighter background in here. You'll see it pop more. This one may be a little lighter. Lighter is better. A little bit lighter. And what you're doing is you're giving the paintings, these are precious. Look at those. You're giving the painting pop. And you give the painting pop by making sure that you have lights and darks, contrasting colors, okay? If you're going to use blue, make sure you use orange as well to give it that contrast, because when you look on the color wheel, you know that those two colors are going to look the best together. So this is just a quick study of backgrounds, how you can look, and then maybe after you're done, like this is a practice lesson. And look what I have. I have 4 6x6 paintings. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them and I'm going to study them. And I'm going to say, all right, I really like this color combination, or I really don't like this color combination. And then those are the kind of things, these little practice moments, when you do stuff like this, these are the kind of situations that will help you. Now, my least favorite is this one right here. I don't find that my background is bright enough, I guess. I really like this one too. These are the kind of situations where you take them, and I'm going to change views so you can see them better, because that camera has a glare on it and I don't know why. So these are the kind of situations, they're all super cute. I think they're super cute. And I'm going to stick them back on here so you can look at them again. Where you just did a color study. You did a color study without even knowing you did a color study, and you try different color combinations. Look at that, how adorable. You tried different color combinations and you played around with what color combinations you really like. And it was a quick study. It's a quick activity and technique that you can do. It doesn't have to be something that's really hard to paint. This was just a carrot. This was almost just like a triangle that we just painted, and we stuck paint on it. And I really like this one. I didn't think I would, but I really like it. I love the yellow in the background. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. It's kind of like a batch practice painting method that can really take you to another level if you spend time doing stuff like this. And then stick them on your wall. And it will give you, this one's a really beautiful color combination as well. It will really give you some great insights on using your colors and how to use your colors together. Because when you look at a painting, there's something about the painting that makes you go, oh, I like that. And there's some psychology behind all of that that has to go with the color combinations and the color mixing that you use, and even the composition, which is a whole nother level of, discussing things that just makes you feel good. And it's an emotion. Okay, so you're looking for emotions when you're looking at these different options. Again, this is my least favorite. I can look at it over and over and I'm like, ugh. I get a feeling and I'm just like, it doesn't do it for me. I'm not going to use this color combination again. So those are just some ideas for you to help you in understanding how artists do that. They don't just start painting and it just all comes together. they actually spend a lot of time doing color studies and practicing different techniques. And this is a technique that I just wanted to show you today. I also have like one other thing I'm going to tell y'all is, see, I have some color swatches, and I continue to make more and more. I write down what colors I mix together to get these colors. And I will hold a color up to an item. I will hold it up and I'm like, do I want to use that color? Or maybe I need to go a little bit darker. Maybe I need to go a little bit lighter, you know, and I'll actually take the little color swatches and I'll stick them up next to my painting, and I'll see which ones I like and which ones I don't like. And like I said, I've written down on the color swatches what the colors were that I used to make that color. So I hope this helps you out in your techniques that you can use to try and learn more about painting and have so much fun. Thank you, Janet. Yes, lots of color studies. I love doing color studies. I love trying out different backgrounds. And we will see you next time on New Technique Wednesday. We'll be back every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, and we'll talk about some little techniques like this, little things that can help improve your acrylic art journey or any art journey. It doesn't have to be just acrylics. All right, guys, y'all have a great day. Thanks so much for being here. We'll see you next time. Bye.